Hey guys, Chainer here again, and today we're going to be talking a little bit about patch 2.1.2. I'm sorry my camera wasn't working for a second, it's not really a problem. Alright, so what we're going to be talking about this patch, or about Season 2 specifically, is what I don't like about it. And rather than listing all the little things, there's really one major thing. I mean, there's a few other things I guess we could talk about. One of those little things would be greater rift bosses, and how they're not really tuned for the higher end greater rift bosses. They just take, you know, like the regular rift bosses, say in T6, which are meant for like quick fights, and then they put them into greater rifts and just scale up their health and damage. And now you got a fight that was meant to last for like 30 seconds or a minute, and they're lasting like 5 minutes, 6 minutes. So you get a boss like Gom, which, you know, he throws out his little poison fart pools, and you know, it's not that bad. He'll get a few of them out like when you fight him throughout the campaign, or even if you get him as a regular T6 rift boss. In Greater Rift boss, in Greater Rift, the high end, like you gotta fight him for 5-6 minutes, and he's throwing out all these poison pools, and the poison pools stay on the ground for like a minute and a half, 2 minutes, I'm not sure on the exact time, but in a lengthy fight with him, he fills up the entire floor and you can't even get near him. And now another gripe with that is sometimes you're in a bad area, like a small hallway. Now in a small hallway, Gom can only throw his poison pools in so many spots, so he'll throw them and cover up the whole hallway, so you're trying to pull him back and run away from him, and it makes the fight take forever. And it's just like a lot of bosses are like that. If you get them in a really bad small area to fight in, you just get them on the wrong map, it makes the fight so much harder. So what I would really like to see are boss rooms. So you get to the 100%, you open up a little portal, you go into that, and you go into a boss room, and you fight the Greater Rift boss in a room specifically designed for that greater rift boss. And just a little bit of tuning, like making Gom's poison pools only last for like 20 seconds or 30 seconds, instead of, you know, covering up the whole screen and then never despawning what it seems like. You know, things like that. And you know, it's not really a major problem. What I really don't like are the ancient legendaries, specifically the weapons. Now, ancient legendaries are fine. You know, like say, look, I got this pair of Raycore gloves, and they're great. They have 8 cooldown, 9 crit, 46 crit damage, got a secondary resistance, not the best one, but whatever. I have a few other pairs that I alternate for greater rifting, and 640 strength. Now, there's a chance I could get a pair like this. It's not that easy to get a pair that's ancient with these stats, and instead of having the 640 strength, I could have up to 1000 strength. But the thing is, these Raycore gloves rolled really nicely, and they're very useful, and that's how it should be. You know, it should be more determined on how the item rolls, not whether it got the 1 in 9 chance to roll that gold border. Now, as you could take a look at my Leoric's crown rolled really nice. It got almost 950 strength, 950 vitality, got my 6 crit chance, it rolled 86% increase to the gem socket. Beautiful. Now, if I didn't have this Leoric's crown, using one that had 700 strength, 700 vitality, not too much of a big deal, right? It, you know, it would still be a nice Leoric's crown, it would still do its job, all is well. Now, the problem we have here is that while ancients increase the stats by 30%, but it doesn't increase percentage stats like elemental damage, elite damage, cooldown reduction, crit chance, crit damage, all that stuff. Ancients don't affect that, and you know, that's good. I mean, it should be like that, because if they did, then you need all your gear to be ancient, and it's a 1 in 9 chance, so you'd be going over piece after piece after piece after gear, just like, oh, no gold border, it's useless, no gold border, it's useless. And that's not really the case with all your gear, and that's a good thing. It should be more about the rolls that make an item good, and if you get an ancient, then even better. but because there are ancient versions of these items, shouldn't make the normal versions obsolete. And that's the problem we're seeing with weapons. Now, that 30% bonus applies to the bonus primary damage on a weapon. And giving a weapon 30% more damage is really, really, really big. That means that weapons without it don't really compare, even the best weapons like a furnace. So now I got this really nice rolled non-ancient furnace, but you know, it's not as good as my ancient heart slaughter. Luckily I got this. I mean, I have 175 hours played on season 2, and I've only gotten this one heart slaughter, so I'm lucky I even got that as an ancient weapon. Alright, but the fact is, furnace is best in slot for a barb. You really want the furnace because you want your damage to be increased on the elites, and you want to be doing, because you want to use your battle rage bloodshed. Every mob that you hit, it spreads damage over to the mobs around it, and then if that mob's an elite, that damage will be increased. So you grab a bunch of white mobs on top of an elite pack and you burn them all down really fast. And now that's going to be really, really effective with something like a furnace that does more damage to elites. And it's going to take away from that effectiveness with a weapon like Heart Slaughter that just does increased damage to everything. You're going to burn through your whites really fast. You're going to be left with the elites that are going to take quite a bit of time. So that's the advantage there. That's why you really, 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 really want a furnace. And now the problem is, you know, personally, this is just me, I got unlucky. Some people get this in 20 hours, other people it could take 200-300 hours, and I think that it's ridiculous because it comes down to just this one item. It's almost like this one lottery item. You understand? So what I'm saying is that the 30% bonus damage for being ancient really shouldn't be there. It should be more about the rolls of the furnace itself. It should be going after a nicely rolled furnace, because after 175 hours I finally got an ancient furnace, and I hit that 15% chance for the smart loot to roll intelligence, or for another class. Yeah, spent 175 hours farming my ancient furnace, and I got an intelligence ancient furnace that didn't even roll that good in the first place. There are other people who, you know, got it after 20 hours. Some people get it after 100. You don't know when it's gonna come, but it comes down to the fact that, like, since any other item could roll ancient, non-ancient, it doesn't really matter. All this stuff, it's all given. You're gonna get it. You're gonna get your Zephyrian. You're gonna get a Stone of Jordan and a Unity. You know, you put 100 hours in, you're gonna get all this stuff. As you can see, not all my stuff is ancient. Some of it is. You know, my Vile Wards aren't ancient, but they're beautiful. They're really, really nice. They don't have to be ancient for it to be useful. So why does a weapon have to be ancient for it to be useful? Why should I feel like nervous and like disappointed when I see a furnace unidentified drop on the floor? I should be happy and excited, but I'm not. Whenever I see a furnace on the floor, I'm like, oh great, I'm gonna get another non-ancient furnace that's just gonna be turned into a forgotten soul. And I don't think that's right. I just personally don't think that's right. I mean, yes, I had an unfortunate experience, and not everyone has that. And the game's about RNG, I understand that. But when you push the RNG too far, it becomes a thing of almost a lottery. Like, no matter what you put into it, you don't know, it might not come. And some of us take this game pretty seriously. It's our hobby. It's my hobby, that's for sure. And I want to do well. I want to play the game. I want to get all my good items. Now, I understand I'm not going to get all perfect stuff, but, you know, I just want what's best for my class. And the ancient weapons just completely block that. I just really think it's not a good system. What I would really like to see happen is that normal weapons get their bonus damage increased by, you know, 20 or the full 30%. that the ancients get. So that way there's not too huge of a difference. So that way if you get a furnace, you could be happy. You now have your best in slot weapon. Nothing's gonna beat that. As well as it rolls good. That's what it should be about. It should be about the stats that roll on the weapon. That's the RNG portion that we face. The RNG is there. So why add another layer of this insane 1 in 9 RNG on top of an item that's already like really crazy hard to get? Now, I'm a streamer and a YouTuber. I get to do this a lot. I can play a lot. I play over 10 hours a day. I already have 175 hours into a season that's only been out for a little over 2 weeks. That's a crazy amount of time. Now, the normal person who likes to play this game, they want to do well. They want to, you know, get their items and stuff. I mean, think what they're putting a lot of people through. I think it's craziness. I think it's total craziness. I think that if you do find a furnace or you find a nice item, that you should be happy, and then you ID it. If it rolls good, great. If it rolls not so good, you know, well, try to get a better one. But yeah, I mean, to roll an item and it's useless because it doesn't have a gold border and you didn't hit that 11% chance, it's just an awful feeling, especially when a lot of us are sitting here for 100, 150, 200 hours just trying to get it, and nothing. And then in mine's a rare case. I know this is a rare case, and I can't really complain. It's, you know, it happens. There's a 15% chance for it to roll another stat for another class. I get it. Okay, whatever. I got screwed. It sucks. I'm not happy about it. 175 hours down. I got 9 furnaces, and on my 9th furnace, I finally get the ancient, and it rolls intelligence. That's just unfortunate. But, you know, I've gotten some nice furnaces. Like, this furnace is not too bad. It's alright, right? It's not too bad. Now, if it wasn't for that 30% damage bonus to the ancient, I would be completely happy and satisfied with this furnace. And it would be lovely if I could use it, but, you know, a weapon like Heart Slaughter, which is not best in slot, how I explained earlier, is gonna take its place. It's gonna be a little better, and I have to use something that's, you know, not really the best. And I'd like to, you know, push Greater Rifts, but Greater Rifts are a huge time sink, and again, you gotta farm. You need a lot of RNG, a lot of good RNG. You need a lot of good RNG, so for me to sink 20, 30, 40 hours just pushing and pushing and pushing to get, you know, a subpar rift just because I don't have the weapon that I should have. And yeah, an ancient furnace is gonna get you maybe like 2 levels higher in greater rifting over an ancient Heart Slaughter. It's just like raw DPS, raw numbers. It's just how it goes. I could go through a rift, I could go through a greater rift 50, and I could miss it by a minute, and you know, the difference would have been if I had the ancient furnace, I would have passed it. And you know, I'm not gonna sink all that time into greater rifting without being fully prepared. That's what it comes down to now. Like I said, that's my suggestion. I know a lot of people are not gonna like what I'm saying right now. They're gonna be like, oh well, the game's about RNG, it should be blah 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 blah. But I mean, how many people put, you know, a lot of hours and actually play this game as a hobby? I mean, that's the kind of perspective I'm looking at it as. I mean, it's just my opinion. It's not right, it's not wrong. You guys are entitled to your opinions. They're not right, they're not wrong either. They're just opinions. And you know, I really love this game, and I think it has a lot going for it. It has way more good than bad, but you know, everything in life could always be a little bit better if you just work a little harder, you know, get a little more feedback, or you know, do these things. So, and this is just my opinion, this is just what I think, for the sake of what you guys think, and not for the sake of arguing your opinions. Like, let's not argue here. Let's just state our opinion, let other people have their opinions. Let me have my opinion. Let other people in the comment section have their opinions, because that's what they are, guys. They're just opinions. That's it. I mean, some people are gonna like this system, and I can't tell them that no, you're wrong, you shouldn't like this system. I could only let you guys know my opinion. So let me know your opinions in the comments. If you want, like, subscribe, share, it'd be much appreciated, guys. See you tomorrow. Later.